That's a good question, very important question. When we talk about foundations to the Christian faith, we must start with the Scriptures. We have to start with the source of our revelation. And one of the most important questions about the Scriptures is, how do we know which books belong in the Scriptures? And I think that's a question that a lot of us have never really come to firm conclusions on. We've just assumed that the Bible that we have in our hands is actually the right Bible with the right books. However, you have to realize that there are a lot of different traditions within Christianity that would have a various set of books, such as the Roman Catholics would add what are called the deuterocanonical books. As well, the Eastern Orthodox sometimes add the deuterocanonical books. Protestant Bible has 66 books, and there's a reason why we have 66 books in our Bible, 39 in the Old Testament, 27 in the New Testament. And the primary thing that you have to realize about the books of the Bible, what we call the Canon of Scripture, is that we recognize that God has put the canon together. I know that sounds simplistic, but we've got to start there. God has put the canon together. He is in heaven, He is in control, and we do not think that He is up there walking around heaven wondering, oh my goodness, why did they get the wrong books? Or how did they miss this book that I wanted them to put in the Bible? Pulling his hair out, trying to figure these things out. We got to start with the sovereignty of God. God is in control of the Bible. Now, why do we have 66 books rather than more books? The Canon of Scripture developed what I like to say is organically or within the community of God. It wasn't as if there were councils that were put together that came centuries later that sat around a table and asked the question, okay, now what books are we going to include out of all these books that we've got to choose from? No, by that time, the books are already accepted. The books become accepted in the community of God, whether it's in the Old Testament or the New Testament, as they're written. Whenever Moses came down from the mountain after receiving the Ten Commandments, they did not have, after a decade, a discussion on whether or not to include the Ten Commandments as inspired material. It just was, because Moses was a prophet. And this is the way that it happened with the Old Testament and with the New Testament. The people wrote down their authoritative words, and it was accepted because of the status of the one who was writing it. And so the canon is automatically accepted as it gets introduced into the community of God. My favorite verse with regards to this is in John chapter 10, whenever Christ says, "My sheep will hear my voice and they will listen to me." The canon is the voice of God, and we want to look across history and ask this question: what have Christians consistently always accepted as the voice of God within the Bible? And what I see is the 66 books that we have in the Bible throughout history have always been accepted. Those ones that are debated about, those ones that people wonder why they aren't in there, the reason why they're not in there is because they have not been consistently received and heard as the voice of God.